I got to the point where people were like, what happened to Fleur, you know? Where's she gone? And it was like, I wish you knew what I'm experiencing right now.
Is that label even still around, Psycho Music?
Not anymore. We shut that down.
It was nice, and it was like, you had the big hair. It was like, oh, okay, there's somebody that I'm familiar with. I can see myself in that person.
I talk openly about my culture, about who I am.
Yeah, you can hear the hood in everything that you said. There's a little twinge.
Always kept it real, always.
This is the Plus 44 podcast. I'm Zeze Millz.
Yeah, what's that about?
What's that all about?
I'm Sideman. Music,
culture,
UK. This is Plus 44 from Wondery. Hello YouTube, you are watching the Plus 44 podcast highlights. If you want to listen to the entire episode, you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up on this show, we have an interview with Fleur East, but let's get into what's been happening this week.
KSI, in a recent Sidemen video, not to be confused with Sideman, said a derogatory slur in a Sidemen video, and he's since apologized, and the Sidemen have also apologized. What's your view?
My view is that this is an example of someone that has got a little bit too comfortable thinking, okay, so KSI has not become KSI via mainstream, right?
Yes.
He's become KSI because of his YouTube, the Sidemen. Like, he's sick at what he does, right? He's built his own platform. He hasn't needed any of these mainstream people to help him. As he's built his platform, they've all flocked towards him. And I think what's happened is KSI has assumed that his following is so like loyal to him that he can almost get away with saying what he needs to say. And the reason why I say that is because there was too much build up for him not to know what he was saying. He said, I don't mean this in a malicious way. We need points. It wasn't just like, oh, he said the word and it was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. That's really bad. He understood what he was about to do because he did too much caveating before he got to saying the word, if that makes sense. So that's error number one. And then we all know how it goes. This pod, I will say things and I'll be like, out of context, that can be taken wrong. Please, can you take that out? The producer will say, we've taken that out because that can be taken the wrong way, etc., etc. There's too much red tape compliance that you have to go through for that to be a mistake, if that makes sense. On top of that, they added a bleep. Do you know how much you have to add? You have to add a bleep post. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then you added the nope at the bottom. Like they all knew what they was doing. And that's why
it was funny.
Right. And that's what I mean. They've got too big for their boots. As in they feel like they're untouchable. As in like, we've built this without the establishment, without the people. Therefore, we almost can't be cancelled. We can do what we want. And I think what happened, and that was the poor judgment. And it's totally wrong. I don't think and that's why I don't know if people are accepting his apology or whatever, but I wouldn't be surprised if people are just like, no one cares about your apology because it didn't seem like it was a mistake. I can guarantee you there would have been at least 2 to 5 at least conversations about whether they should have kept that in or not. So the fact that they all then decided that, oh yeah, no, it's fine for us to leave it in, it just shows someone that's got a bit too comfortable with where they are and how they've got there, in my opinion.
Agreed. Separate conversation. When I was getting cooked for the Shaq and Tanya thing, I saw people that I know in comment sections. Like people that I real life know, they have my number, they can talk to me, they actually know me in comment sections, giving their views on what they think about the situation. And you've told me about this before. You'd be like, yo, why is this girl saying this? Or why is this guy saying this like they don't know me? You know what I'm saying? But they'll be online chatting me. And I'm just seeing a lot of people in our community speaking very publicly, drastically on them in this situation. And because of what happened with me and the Shaq and Tanya thing, I'm looking at it differently. If I know you and you did something wrong, am I going to come online and speak on you, or am I going to say that to you personally? It's not just KSI embroidered in this. You're talking about Chunks, Philly, all the people that was on set. People are having different things to say about all of them. I'm just seeing a lot of people in our community commenting on these guys that I know they know.
But what's wrong with that?
I just think it's a bit funny. Having been through it now, have they messaged these guys? Because remember, they're now not giving their view as a form of content for their podcast like we are right now. They are online. Yeah, them and a rare to for doing that. And I'm just like, you know this, brother. You could say that to him. And then the second thing is, do you think if somebody in the South Asian community said the N-word that's as big as KSI, you would have this much people from that community that are influencers, celebrity, known and popular in that community, speaking on that person saying the N-word?
Yeah, I do. If they were in the culture, like, even if they're not black, if they was in the urban or whatever world you want to call it, popular culture world, then yeah, I think it would be like, yo, for ages there was a conversation about Tekashi 6ix9ine using the N-word. Like, why is he allowed to use it?
Who was the conversation by though?
Black people.
Exactly.
No, it was because of the way it was said. I think if it was said like how it is, then yeah, I think there would be a conversation. And
I don't think they'd be talking as much as we're talking.
No, I think they do, because anytime anyone uses the N-word, that everyone's jumping to our defense. Like, look what happened to the BBC. It wasn't just us black people that was upset with it. There was loads of like white people, non-black people.
I didn't say white.
Actually, they're probably in the black community, less people have been vocal about it, because I do find that sometimes it's up to a black person whether or not they want to speak on other people's struggles. Do you know what I mean? Like, that black person has their own struggles going on. So my whole thing is... I wasn't
talking about the struggles.
No, I'm talking about the reason why I'm saying this is because there's times when black people don't comment on other people's racist things because they have their own struggle going on. And it's like, I'm not being funny, but so that's why I'm disagreeing with you. I think actually, oftentimes, when there's racial injustice going on over there, sometimes we're not as vocal as they would be if it was us, in my opinion.
I disagree with that.
So, no, that's what I think.
Can we go back just in case there are people that don't know? You came second in X Factor in 2014.
Do you remember it? Or is it like a bit of a blur?
Leading up to that point, I'd done so much.
Yeah.
So much in the industry before I even got on TV. Yeah. In so many girl groups I can't even count.
Oh, wow.
I was like signed to...
Are you the drama? Because you were in so many... Are you the drama? Because you were in so many girl groups. What happened? Did they leave you or did you leave them?
Do you know what, to tell you the truth? It was my own lack of self-confidence.
Oh, really?
I always wanted to sing, but I was really shy. Genuinely, I was like, I can't do this by myself. So I always surrounded myself because I was like, power in numbers.
And you went from that to X Factor.
Right. There was a real progression. Signed to independent labels. I was touring with DJ Fresh for 2 years. I was like doing backing vocals for Rita Ora when she first came out. Miss Dynamite, and toured with Dizzy Rascal and Rizzle Kicks and all these people. I was doing a lot of stuff. So by the time I auditioned for X Factor, I was like, I'm ready now. Like, I've built up, my skills, and like, this is it. So
did you ever at times feel like, what about me? Or did you enjoy it? Because I know also being a singer, you just like to sing obviously as well, and being in that environment and still getting that something from it. So what was that like? Yeah,
for me I saw it as like my apprenticeship.
Right, okay.
Kind of thing. I know this will be me. I don't know when.
Yeah.
But I always just had faith that it would happen.
Right.
And I think being around all those people and seeing how successful they were and getting the buzz off of them, like achieving their dreams, for me, it was like I was drawing off their energy and I was just like, cool, this is it. Like, I'm learning from all of their experiences, and when my time comes, like I'll be ready. Yeah.
This industry actually just messes with your head in general, with your self-confidence, everything, because you're constantly having to compare yourself and then put on top of that being a black woman. Like, do you get what I mean? And even when you was doing X Factor, you had the big hair. It was like, oh, okay, there's somebody that I'm familiar with. I can see myself in that person. At the time, did you realise how important it was?
I didn't realise it completely before that. It was afterwards. And I remember people coming up to me, like in Walthamstow, just in the market and stuff, going, Fleur, you don't understand what you've done. It was like mothers with young kids and just going like, my daughter, please talk to her. Like, she doesn't like her hair. Can you just tell her, like, you're an example. I always say to her, look at Fleur, like she's on stage. And I remember, funnily enough, you mentioned the jungle. That was a conscious decision for me going into the jungle to have my natural hair out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were like, what are you going to do? You're going to braid it? Are you going to, like, what are you going to do? Because like, you're going to be cockroaches up in there. You're going to do. And I was like, do you know what? No, I'm going to rock it. And yeah, it's going to be humidity and there's going to be a lot of things my hair's going to have to contend with. But I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I remember in our bag, we got like one bandana, and like that was literally it. There was like no luxuries. And I was like, I'm going to rock this bandana
every
in
single
so many ways. I literally I made it work.
Oh, I want somebody, can somebody who's good on TikTok, can we have like a stitch of every time the different, how Fleur did I would love to see that. I know you signed to, is that label even still around, Psycho Music?
Not anymore.
Is it finished? I'm not surprised.
There was some bass on that, not anymore. I heard a little extra gravy on that.
Not anymore. If I like,
Not anymore. We shut that down.
No, mate. Honestly.
yeah, what? Because you were signed to Simon Cowell's label, Psycho Music,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, it was kind of like, what happened?
It was so weird. So I released Sax. That was my debut single.
Right.
That song had a complete life of its own. It's like run away from me. Even to this day, I'm still getting like things for it to be used in TV shows and all sorts. And I toured the world with that song and it went platinum and it was like, it was big. Like it was like, whoa. Then released the album. And then I was in recording sessions for 2 years.
Them not letting you release music.
Yeah.
Do you know how many women artists I've heard say we've been recording songs, falling in love with songs that we want the world to hear, and they say no, no. If you say no for 2 years, after that point, bro, we might as well put something out because no one knows who I am anymore.
Right.
And something is better than nothing.
It was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. And creatively, I mean, there's no like formula or algorithm to writing songs, right? You have to be inspired. It has to be like your mood, your energy has to pour into it. Can you imagine doing sessions 6 days a week for 2 years? I was literally like, what is going on? And I was getting so frustrated because I could see other artists were being released. So much was going on around me.
I'm sorry, I started laughing because I started imagining myself in release my music. Release my music before I start making music.
That was like
I put that music for 6 days a week,
right?
Making music.
That's like prison.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And like every so often you'd come out of a session, you'd be like, this is it. This is the next one, you know? And you play it to your A and I go, I think we need to try again. I think we need
People that I've never had a hit telling you what a hit is.
I was drained. Creatively, I was drained. And can you imagine as well, I was still so linked to X Factor and that platform that I was going to all these red carpets and all these huge events and everywhere I'm going. So Fleur,
where's the new music?
What's going on? Where's the new music? And at first I could like lie and go, no, it's coming, you know, really excited. And then it got to the point where I was like, I actually don't even want to lie anymore. Like I just said to my team, I was like, don't send me to these things. This is actually embarrassing. I got to the point where people were like, what happened to Fleur, you know? Sax was big. Where's she gone? Like, and it was like, I wish you knew what I'm experiencing right now. Like, and the thing that's so difficult is there's a huge machine behind you, but you're the face of it all. Yeah. Like, I was the one that was like, what happened, man? You flopped.
No
man.
one's asking your A&R. What's happening?
Yeah, that's so
I didn't
true.
flop. Like, it wasn't me. Like, it was the team. Like, you know, they literally had my career in their hands and they put me on a shelf for 2 years. It's funny because the story is always like, oh, you got dropped and everyone's been dropped. I literally walked into the office and I essentially asked them to let me go. Like, I would just walked in there and I was like, what's going on?
For some reason, I'm imagining Dre at death row when she says it. Like, it sounds like she said it normal, but I imagine her going in there like, yo, I'm out.
Yeah, I walked in there. I mean, it took a lot of courage, to be honest. Like, and I walked in there and I was just like, what are you doing with me? And it was just like sheepish answers like, no, we love you here.
Sounds like all the relationships. It sounds like all the conversations I have with my situationships.
Right? It's
what
like
are we
that.
doing here? I just
What are we?
What are we?
Like, listen, yo, who harmed Zeze Millz? Because like, yo, it's a lot now, bro. Not her, who harmed this woman? Dear God Almighty.
There's this battle you go through, right? Everyone's got a bit of ego that you've got to contend with, right? And after obviously being with a massive machine and being everywhere, when I release stuff independently, you constantly have the questions, what's going on, man? You were doing this. You were like in LA doing this and now you're doing, nah, man, the industry did you dirty. You're
Now
releasing
you're
this.
sitting in front of Sideman and Zeze? Like, what's going on? Ain't you Fleur?
Yeah, you get all that, you know, all that fame and I guess all the platforms and you have like the huge budget behind you. But really and truly, it's a huge pie and you get like that much.
Yeah.
When you do it independently, you might not see me everywhere, but what I'm getting is mine.
You know the truth though, but what's it like when you know that's people's perception and you have to like walk in a room and you're thinking, they think this of me, but you know the truth. Like even when you go quiet online and I could be filming a whole thing, but because I'm not posting, Zeze's fallen off or the views are not that much. How did you deal with that though?
I think for me, because when I came onto the X Factor, and it's not even old, like I was 26 when I did X Factor. I knew who I was. I'd been to uni. I'd had all my sleepovers. I'd done all the house raves. I'd done like all the stuff you do
to
be normal.
You know what? Your husband's here. That
He knows
sleepover,
everything.
that sleepover term was like, that was crazy.
Right?
That's the most Christian way I've heard it
I
described.
might start using that.
This girl said sleep.
Sleepover.
Yeah.
Sleepovers.
I've had a couple of sleepovers in my day. It's like, wait,
Do you know what I mean? Like normal life. Normal life. I have my circle around me. Like all my friends that roll with me now are still the same friends. Like nothing's changed. So when I came into the industry, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually realizing my dream. But at the same time, I was very much still the girl from Walthamstow. Like I was still
more grounded.
going around my friend's house. And then I'd be like laughing about the red carpet I did the night before. Like we'd be having banter about the celeb world. Like to me, it's still weird. Like even though I've got like one foot here and 1 foot, you know what I mean? So majority of the people that were like, Fleur, man, you fell off. What's going on? I'm like, yeah, cool. That's the perception. But at the end of the day, I'm still working. I'm still doing what I love. I've still got my people.
I heard that as I'm still making money.
Oh yeah.
You man are not making money, so don't chat to me. Like,
you're starting to click on.
Like, don't worry about what
There's
you
a couple of
what you worrying? You worried about me, bro? Worry about yourself.
I learned that essentially when you sign a record deal, it's basically like a loan, pretty much.
Which a lot of people don't know.
I was like, cool. So all these things you're paying for, like my cars, my travel, my flights. Basically, that's my money, and then I'm gonna have to pay it back to you, and then I'll never see. Oh, okay.
And yet, when I ask you when my music dropping, you ain't got an answer for me.
Right.
Like say, I'm not paying you.
Can you imagine? Garage, dubstep,
nice,
hip hop.
Where we going with this? Are we gonna hear Fleur on drill? Like, how wild is it gonna?
How experimental are we gonna get?
In a club, and I got a tap on my shoulder. I turned around, and it was him. And he said, "Do you remember me from?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh my god, this is meant to be.
And he said, "You still with your boyfriend?" I was like, "No."
Where is my own?
We ain't done because I know the man them. You thought that was an accident.
So before we go, make sure you check out all the new releases this week across the +44 playlist on Amazon Music. You can download the Amazon Music app or just ask Alexa.
As well as the main +44 playlist, we also have the R&B playlist, the rap playlist, and the Afro playlist. This month on +44, we are celebrating independent artists. So if you need tips on how to break through the music industry, make sure you are following at +44 UK on Instagram. You have been listening to the +44 podcast from Amazon Music with me, Sideman.
And me, Zeze Millz.
Listen to the +44 podcast wherever you get your podcasts or listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music.